Hello and thanks for tuning in. In this video we're going to be looking in a little bit more detail of Bus Simulator. We've already done a gameplay video where we were just messing around the first time we've tried it, but now I've played it quite a bit and I feel in a much better position to do a full review on the game. So if you hadn't guessed already, Bus Simulator is, it's a bus simulator. Your role or your aim is to set up bus routes around this city that currently has no public transport and, in a nutshell, take passengers where they want to go. So this is just the very first mission that I'm just going to quickly blast through if you haven't seen it before, so you get an idea. And I didn't take the handbrake off. So the aim of the game is pretty straightforward. You start off just with this one bus and we're just testing out the route to see if there's demand for it in the city. You're going to obviously generate money every time you drive your route, and as you progress you can get more buses and you can expand your route to cover much larger areas of the town. So we'll work our way through the first couple of missions so that way you can see buses in action and you'll be able to get a feel for the menus and what the game's all about. So,
right on time.
Okay, so all we've done in this gameplay so far is we've just completed the first route that you have to complete as a little test run, and so you can see at the end of each mission, end of each drive rather, you get a bit of a breakdown of what money you've made. Now, at the moment we only have the one route and the wrong bus. But there are different things you can explore, so we'll go through the menus before we get into the driving experience itself. So in the route planner, this is where you will be given missions by, I can't remember her name, but that lady popped up before telling us about this, and you can actually toggle the missions on and off, which took me ages to find out. This is on an Xbox, this is with the left stick, so if you complete these objectives, you will get more of the map to play over. So my very first playthrough I didn't notice this and I was just driving around this city area that you can see in front of us now. Got a little bit boring, I didn't know what I was missing. Made loads of money, just wasn't really exploring much of the map. Other things you can do in the game is you can hire and fire new drivers. Obviously you can't drive every single route yourself, so you can, as you progress, you can hire drivers, you can buy more buses and you can assign them to different routes to bring in even more money. We don't need to do that at the moment. And then obviously the magic is the buses themselves. So if we just tab over to the shop, these are the buses that are available. So you start with this Mercedes Citaro K, and then as you progress, you can unlock different buses, bigger buses. So as you can see, there's quite a few different kinds. Let's quickly tab through now. This one, I haven't unlocked one of these yet, but this looks like the mother of all buses. One of the bendy buses, absolutely brutal. Another bendy bus, another bendy bus, and then there's a non-bendy bus. So I've got this Man Lion City L bus. Came with the pre-order. That came as a pre-order DLC. So we'll show you that one in action later on one of my other saved games. It is very, very tough to drive. So we will go back to working our way through these mission objectives so you can see how it opens up and different things that you can do. So we can, next we'll paint the bus. So we can go to our garage, look at our buses. So we've only got the one, and this is where we can jazz it up, make it look however you want to. Later on you can unlock advertising as well, but we can't for now. As you progress you'll unlock more of these skins. Obviously you can go to your heart's content. I'm going to choose, that looks a bit Minecrafty, so we're going to do that. And we'll apply that, and you can have a different paint scheme for each of your buses. I found that quite useful, so I could tell them apart and which of my drivers was doing what. So let's have a look at the route planner, see what else we need to do on the mission. I'm pretty sure we just painted that bus, maybe we didn't save it. Oh, maybe that's what we have to do. Go for sort of a camo kind of look there. Hopefully that counts. There we go. So we painted the bus. One of the beauties of this game is you can actually create your new route, your own routes. So we shall do that now. So we're going to select that. We're going to select a new route, and we can choose where we're going to start and stop. So we won't make it a particularly big one for the purpose of this. Okay, and we'll save that. And then we might as well drive it. When we do that, we can talk about the driving experience as well. There are a few sort of niggles I have with these menus. It seems that on different screens of the menu, it's different buttons to navigate around. So I do find that a bit clumsy, a bit clunky. It's easy to get a little bit muddled up. Not the smoothest experience. While we're in these menus, we should actually look at the various levels of simulation that you can have on, because there's absolutely loads. So there's bits and pieces about like if the minimap's visible or not, which you will need unless you can remember all the routes. Definitely need your wing mirrors. So you can change various settings. So you can change how strong the brakes are, how much the head moves in the first person view, the amount of traffic on the roads, and these here are just random events that can occur. So I've been turning them off because I found they got a little bit annoying. They took away from the driving experience, is what I was interested in. But if you do want to have these on, they require you getting out of your driving seat, potentially telling people to turn the music down, kicking them off the bus, possibly someone leaves some valuables on the bus, so you'd have to chase them down to return them. So can be quite detailed if you want the full simulation. And you'll also see in a second, when we go to select our route, some other levels of simulation that you can have as well. So you can choose to start at the garage rather than near the first bus stop. You can enable the cashier or turn it off, and that is whether or not you're going to issue tickets or not. Once again, I find that just gets in the way of the driving experience that I'm after in the game. And you can also change the level of the driving simulation as well. Now, I'm crap at driving, rubbish at all driving games, so I keep it simplified. But for those of you out there who want a real simulation, then that is an option for you. You can also choose to have it rainy, different times of day, or you can have it random as well. It's quite nice effects in the rain. Looks really dark and quite sinister almost. But we're going to sort of, just for this, to highlight the drive, we're going to do it in the daytime so you can see it in all its glory. And we'll start the drive. And it's crashed. Okay, so this is us just recovered from the Xbox crashing there. I've heard a few reports of people having issues with Bus Simulator crashing, so hopefully there'll be a patch to update that. So first of all, we'll have a look at the bus itself. We're going to build up a bit of a queue of traffic behind us, but I'm not really bothered. We haven't started the route yet. So you can see the bus models are actually quite detailed. Looks really nice. And that's clearly where a lot of the effort has gone to, because you look around, although the environment is passable, it's not the prettiest. There's a lot of assets reused, but it certainly serves its purpose. So you can drive the bus in third person like this. If you're after the full simulation, I'd recommend doing first person. As you zoom in, you can see what's going on, and you have all of these controls to play around with. So there's lots and lots of detail in here. So you've got all your different lights and so on that you'd have to manually control. You've got the parking brake, you've got hazard lights, you've got separate buttons for doors, all sorts of bits and pieces on here. What was that one? Speed limiter, very important, so you don't get speeding fines as you go in. Your own door. Oh, I've got out. and obviously the ticket machine should you choose to have that option enabled. Now all of these things, they can be selected just by clicking and pointing. That's going to take ages. You can zoom in as well. What there is this nifty wheel, and that's just using left on the D-pad, so you can select different options in here. So if you want to go into the door menu, there's all these doors here. Well, there's also a hotkey just by pressing X, which opens all of the doors at once. This is if they're disabled ramp, so hopefully you can see. Just move that. You can see that's popped out of the side now. So you will come across passengers who need wheelchair access. There's all sorts of other bits and pieces in here. We're not going to go through them all. But wow, it's even detailed that I didn't notice this one before. You even go as far as seat adjustment. So lots of things you can play with to do that. Now when you are driving, you're scored on various things, and it's not necessarily about being the fastest, it's about being on time and driving safely and within the speed limits. So if you're after an experience where you can just tear around doing whatever you want, then Bus Simulator is probably not for you. Although there is a free roam mode where you're not penalised for anything and you literally can just drive around to your heart's content, smashing into things, but there's no real damage to anything. So if I'm honest, it's not that exciting. For me, the real challenge of the game comes from delivering the experience that the customers want. So you'll be judged on driving within the speed limit, not mounting the curb, stopping within the designated area on the bus stop, not going too fast over speed bumps is another thing, not killing people. That's also something that you should be aiming to do or not to do, depending which way you look at it. At the end of each drive, you get a star rating. So as you'll see throughout this drive, we'll get little green pop-ups to tell us when we've done something good, and we'll get red ones when we've done something bad. Hopefully we won't do too many bad things. So we'll go ahead and we'll start the route. So as you can see, I'm indicating left. I'm going to pull in. We'll put all these poor people who are queuing behind us out of their misery. And let us begin. So I can see there's a guy in a wheelchair, so we'll get the ramp down for him as well.
The weather is just lovely.
Alright, so he's on board.
Got some shampoo.
What I have found is the other drivers on the road are quite nice. You can see we just indicated left and that van has stopped, which is very nice. I do have a little bugbear about some of the road rules, if you will. First of all, I'm from the UK, so we're clearly driving on the wrong side of the road. But that aside, it seems at certain junctions, other drivers don't seem to follow the rules of the road. They don't stop when they should do, causing unnecessary crashes. So I just need to slow down for this speed bump. We get penalised for driving over those too quickly. And we'll carry on. Now I've got the speed limiter on here at the moment, so I shouldn't really break the speed limit, but you can turn it off. We'll do that when we get on a straight bit, so you can hear the passengers complaining. Okay, so here's our next stop.
I need the ramp, please.
Well, apparently that was a good stopping position. I thought I'd completely missed the area there.
I need a ticket.
Oh, I thought I'd turn ticketing off. Okay, so this is how ticketing works. So when people get on, they're going to tell you what they want. So it says single, regular, and one. And you need to give them change, so you can see that it tells us you need to give them $7.80. So it does the maths for you,
Thank you.
which is quite nice.
Thanks.
Then we need to bring in the ramp. And off we go. So you can see in the bottom left that we're also judged in terms of time. So we've got 1 minute 5 seconds to get to the next stop. Now it's normally quite generous in terms of time, but you never can tell what the traffic's going to be like. Certainly when you get onto some of the longer routes, as you unlock them, then time will be more important. Now I did mention about the rules of the road. Now, from what I can see from those road markings, those cars shouldn't have pulled out then, but they did. So I found that can be quite inconsistent and could cause unnecessary crashes. Maybe I'm just following the the rules of the road incorrectly. I don't know, but it's certainly something that does bug me. Oh, we've still got tickets. I thought I'd turn this off. I don't think you can turn it off now. We're in it, sadly. You can also give people the incorrect change, so we'll do that now. And they just take it. They're obviously not the most honest people in the world, the people who live in this city. So what we'll show you as well is we'll do this next part of the drive in first person, so you can see. I find this much harder than in a third person mode, particularly for getting around corners, but we'll see how we get on. And this is only the small bus, remember. Oh, just made it. As you can see, we got another pop-up there telling us that we'd indicated correctly, which is nice. I don't think we've had any red yet.
Are you going to the old sawmill this
And
Friday?
we'll get ready in case someone wants a ticket. Yeah. Okay, we'll check our mirrors. And off we go.
Astro Promenade.
See, at this junction they seem to have actually stopped at the lines where they should have done. Sometimes they don't. Also, you need to definitely be aware of pedestrians who have no fear, and they will walk out onto those zebra crossings when they want to walk out. And it does come with quite a hefty fine running someone over. Interestingly, you are able to get straight back in your bus and carry on driving, so quite a forgiving town in terms of its law enforcement. I don't think you should be able to get behind the bus after you just killed someone, but hey ho.
One ticket, please.
Oh, I keep forgetting we got this blinking thing on.
Thank you.
Okay, traffic has stopped for me, which is very nice. Now the buses themselves, as you would expect, they handle like buses. So they are quite slow, they are cumbersome, they're very, very hard to get around certain corners, especially the bigger buses. So do bear that in mind. It takes a bit of getting used to. Say I've put in a fair few hours now in Bus Sim to try and get the hang of it. And I am far from an expert, as you'll see. Once we finish this route, we'll load a different company and we'll show you one of the bigger buses in action.
Next stop, Greenwich Square. Last stop, please leave the bus.
So at the end of each drive, you are going to get a star rating. As you can see here, we didn't do anything bad, which is good. We were on time for everything. We used our turning signals correctly. So we got 5 stars there, which is good. Did I have 4 fare dodges though? That's probably because I've got ticketing turned on and I can't be bothered with it. So once again, after each one, we come back to... After each drive, we come back to our statistics. Let's see, I wonder if we can afford a new bus. Yeah, let's go bus shopping. I'll show you how you can assign different people to buses as well. So we're going to buy another one of these. Yeah, we're fine, we can afford that. And we're going to hire someone. So as you hire people, they level up as the game progresses. And what you can do to help bring in more money is we can drive one route and they can drive the other one. So you'll see here, we can assign a driver and we can assign a bus. And you'll see now next to it in the little icons, so there's one driver, one bus. I don't know if later on you can apply more drivers to it or not. I've never noticed the option to expand, so you can have multiple buses on it. I think it might get too complicated doing it that way. But so each time you drive your route, so if we were to drive that one again, they would drive their route and you bring in more and more money. So that's a way you can grow your business. So as you've got enough money, you can buy more buses, you can hire more people, have them on more routes, and you can set up route after route after route. So we could go around this way, for example, where we don't have much coverage. That's probably a bit of a poor choice. No, that'll do. So there's another route. If we had the money, we could buy another bus and we could hire another driver and get them driving as well for us. We will show you the rest of the map, but we're going to do that in a second. I'll load another game. Okay, so we've just loaded another game save that I've got, where you can see we've got quite a few different routes going on, and we've also got quite a lot of money in the bank. We've got 4 drivers doing 4 other routes, that local route, and then I've just created this other one on the map. So you can see as it expands, the map itself is quite big, and I think if Bus Simulator proves to be a hit, that's where the expansions can be, if they do any DLC in the future, so as well as introducing new buses. Now, I'm no bus expert, I don't know a great deal about them, but I can see, as well as some DLC packs focusing on different bus companies, there will also be different areas to explore. So I am going to show you the big bus, and we definitely want to turn ticketing off, which is that one, and we'll show you what it's like in the rain. And we're going to show you the Lions, the City El Man bus, which is it's quite tricky to drive, as you're going to see. So we'll go ahead and load the route. So as you can see straight away, it's very dark, quite sinister, and this is quite a long route in the countryside. And we'll get cracking with the bus. Now, how people drive buses this big in real life, I have got absolutely no idea. Take my hat off to you, because as you can see, right now it's not too bad, but once we get into the tighter corners, definitely going to crash.
Of course, I forgot my umbrella today.
So you can probably hear then that guy talking about forgetting his umbrella. You will hear a lot of chat from passengers. Can get a little bit repetitive, if I'm honest. I've not seen an option to turn it off. I tend to say the same things over and over again. It's a minor niggle. It's certainly not game breaking in any way, but it can get a little bit tedious. So here's our first tight corner. In fact, those of you who are, I'm going to crash already. No, sorry, for those of you who are more observant, you probably noticed that my route planning is actually pretty poor on this one. We're just going round in a big circle. But nonetheless, we shall follow the route.
That's my stop.
So I've just been penalised for hitting a pothole. Oh, and there's a speed bump. I do think the game looks a lot more attractive in the rain. I think all the different reflections and how the road surface is shiny, really nice. Now these junctions I don't understand. There's no traffic lights. I don't know whose right of way it is, so I'm just going. But when we stop at this stop, we'll show you what it's like trying to drive this. Oh, we hit another pothole. We'll show you what it's like trying to drive this in the rain in first-person view.
What does that sound? Does anyone else hear that?
So this is one of the other joys of Bus Simulator, is sitting and waiting. So I don't know if you've got traffic lights ahead or if it's just a junction.
I forgot to get something for dinner. Oh well. Pizza.
So I think we should be giving way here, looking at that sign. See, I think the sign says give way, but then does that line, that junction, not mean they should stop? I don't know.
I spent the afternoon leaving and parked all night.
Good lord, I don't know how we got around there.
Really? Why? You're not in it.
Oh, and we might have the curb. This big bus is so hard to drive. I don't know if the bendy buses are easier. In fact, this route, I've clearly done something very, very terrible with it, because it's just going in a loop. But anyway, the purpose of this was just to show you driving this bigger bus, so you get an idea there. So to sum up, really, about Bus Simulator, it's a game it's full of potential. It started off already pretty good. It's quite interesting. Growing the business, designing your own routes, even ones as bad as this one I've designed at the moment. It certainly gets more interesting once you open up more areas of the map and you start to make money. And making money is quite easy, really, as long as you take your time. You're not going to end up in loads of debt. It's not too challenging in that respect.
Well, wait. Is this even my bus?
Unlocking the different buses gives you something to aim for. All the different skins and whatnot means you can customise to your heart's content to make the buses really unique. Now there is also a multiplayer mode as well, which I haven't found a lobby for as of yet, or I haven't found a game to join, and no one's joined mine. But that does sound quite good fun, so if you've got a friend or a couple of friends who might be into it as well, there are co-op missions. So I don't know how they work, so if anyone does know, please put them in the comments below, let us know your thoughts on it. We'd be interested to find out a little bit more about it. So to sum up, the pros we've already really done there, so lots of customization, quite an in-depth business models that you can get into, all that route planning, really good. The cons, graphically, it's not amazing, it's passable, but it's certainly not amazing. It can be hard. The buses themselves take a lot of getting used to. But overall, I personally don't have that many cons with it, so I guess the crashing would certainly be one of them. It crashed for us first earlier on, obviously, and there are lots of people reporting issues with crashing, which is certainly something that the developers need to have a look at. So, but overall, Bus Simulator definitely gets a thumbs up from me. To give it a score, I would give it sort of a solid 7 out of 10. At the moment, 6.5, 7, and with a couple of small changes, so getting the traffic consistent, as in how the traffic obeys the rules of the road consistent, would make a big difference to me. Or at least maybe they could sort of put in some highway code or something, because the rules of the road might be different. Maybe the signs need to be clearer, I don't know, but there's something not quite right about, or it doesn't feel quite right with the other NPC cars, how they act on the road. So hopefully you've enjoyed watching this video, you've learnt a little bit more about Bus Simulator, the pros and the cons of it, decided whether it's for you or not. let us know your thoughts in the comments, what you think of Bus Simulator. And if you like what you've seen, then it would be wonderful if you subscribe to the channel and give us a like. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.